impressed with GGG's win over Murata. Now, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion of that. I was pretty impressed with GGG's win over Murata, considering his age and considering the fact that he maintained such a high level of conditioning. Has he slowed down? Absolutely. Has his you know his ability to sustain a high pace, high tempo sort of fight declined? Absolutely. Okay, but his conditioning is pretty good. He's still tough. He's still, whatever regiments he's been going through, he's been doing well with those regiments. His conditioning is good. His punch resistance is good. Of course, if you go to the body with any fighter, you can break him down. Um, his boxing ability has improved some. He got in some trouble with Murata a couple of times, but he pressed through. This is a 40-year-old man we're talking about. Okay, so it was pretty impressive. Of course, he was much bigger than Murata. You could see he just physically was hulking over Murata, but Murata can punch. Um, Murata's not considered, you know, uh, one of the top elite uh, middleweights in the division, even though he was world champion. He wasn't considered top elite. I'm not saying he wasn't elite. Okay, big difference. I'm not saying he's not elite. I'm just saying he's not considered one of the top elite middleweights in the division. Top elite even middleweights in the division. Chris Eubank Jr. You know he doesn't have a belt right now. You have Chris Eubank Jr. You have Jamal Charlo, and you have well, it was Demetrius Andrew. He's gone, so I don't know. That's all we got now. So he wasn't considered one of the top elites at middleweight. But he is elite, obviously, because world champion, etc. You are elite. He's absolutely the cream of the crop in the top 100 middleweights in the division, the top 25 middleweights in the division. He's up there, right? So you have to consider him elite, top 10 probably. He might be one of the top. Yeah, he's probably one of the top 10 middleweights in the division as well. Um, but so I was personally impressed. Now, having said that, Canelo's fought this man twice. All right, arguably, I believe, beat him twice. He got a draw in a fight I thought he won. So there's nothing that Triple G brings to the table that Canelo hasn't seen before. He's seen him try to box him. He's seen him try to pressure him. So there's nothing Canelo, and so I can understand why Canelo says he's not impressed. He even went on to say at Fight Hype against to Lance Pugmire, he said, he was supposed to stop Murata, in his opinion. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, and so, he didn't see the whole entire fight. He only saw highlights of the fight. He didn't have time to watch the entire fight, but from what he saw from the highlights, Triple G did well. He thought he did good, and he did what he was supposed to do. So he wasn't impressed by it per se, but he did what he was supposed to do. So I thought Canelo's answer was reasonable. I was impressed because of the age, 40 years old and still doing it. And remember, this guy used to take punches like crazy. And now in the Murata fight, he wasn't taking as many. So that means that Jonathan Banks had an effect on him and was able to help him to sidestep certain punches and to just kind of circle a certain way and not get tagged up too much. He still got Murata still got his money punches in. He still got, but he wasn't like when he fought Steve Rolls or when he fought the other guy he recently fought. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Where they were getting their punches, their licks in on him, like whenever they wanted to, kind of like. So he's still crisp and sharp with certain punches and punch selections and combinations. But he clearly isn't as mobile as he used to be. He clearly isn't as fast as he used to be. when he's putting the combinations together, he's crisp and fast and sharp. But I mean, like in terms of his movements, he's more. He still tries to use that lateral movement, the pivot work. It's very important, and that's something that he's implementing and very well, using the jab pretty well too. So but you know, that's I think anyway. Canelo's focused on Bivol, but if you're gonna talk about uh, is Canelo impressed by it? Absolutely not. He said he's not impressed by it. He knows Triple G up close and personal. He knows what the style is. He knows what Triple G brings to the table. In fact, I remember when he was going to have the second fight with Triple G, he said that he's one-dimensional. No special effects, straight up and down. It's almost the same thing that Canelo said about Triple G. It's the same thing Floyd said about Triple G, to be honest with you. And Canelo's dominating the sport, I believe, because he faced Floyd Mayweather. If he had not faced Floyd Mayweather, I don't think he would be dominating the sport as he is. He's gotten smarter, keeps his composure a lot more, and that was something he commented on why he won against Sergey Kovalev. He said Sergey Kovalev was making it very difficult for him to close the distance on him. And he said, Kovalev's a very competent fighter, and Bivol's probably better than Kovalev. I think Bivol's better than Kovalev for two reasons. One, Bivol fights at mid-range, so he can keep, and also I think that Bivol is also very good at long-range fighting, and his inside fighting is not bad either. So Bivol's a much more competent fighter, I think, than Sergey Kovalev. I mean, this is what Bivol does. Kovalev doesn't really do that. Bivol's a master at what he does. And Bivol's different to Caleb Plant, who I thought also made it difficult for Canelo, in that Bivol has the experience behind his mastery. This is why he's a master. He has a lot of experience behind it. And he might not be the biggest, highest profile name, but he's a problem. So Canelo's going after a really tremendous challenge. I mean, he has Frank Sanchez, who's a very skilled, savvy Cuban heavyweight, to sort of try and figure out the style and figure out how to deal with the style. But that's gonna be a tough fight. Now Bivol's not as skilled as, say, a Demetrius Andrade, in my opinion. He's not as skilled as a Demetrius Andrade, but he has a very difficult style. I mean, if I wish that Bivol had fought Artur Beterbiev, so you guys could see just how good Bivol is. Bivol's very, very good, and that's why Beterbiev is a little slower though, and he's a little older than Canelo. Bivol has everything. Bivol's basically the kryptonite to Canelo's style. How Canelo's been implementing his style. The only way Canelo's going to beat Bivol, I keep on saying it over and over, he has to work on his foot movement. He has to be able to go 12 rounds moving his feet. And I don't mean like precise footwork. That was not going to work with Bivol. You have to have a pretty decent jab and to be able to counter Bivol, because Bivol is not going to stay in front of you. You understand? He's not going to stay in front of you. And he's probably going to be a couple footsteps ahead of you. Because the foot movement, everything in this fight with Bivol and Canelo has to do with the foot movement, where you position your body in space, and an upper body movement as well. But Canelo has that already, Bivol. So Canelo has to make Bivol miss to make Bivol pay. So it's more of a Danny Jacobs fight, except Danny Jacobs in this case he's a master of what he does. Danny Jacobs was mastering what he was doing, but he wasn't quite there yet. But Bivol is a master of what he does. Bivol doesn't need to use a jab on you. He has some special effects that make him very special. Like I said before, I think Bivol is better than Lomachenko. Usyk might be a little bit better than Bivol. I don't know, but or maybe not. I don't know. Bivol has a style that I really appreciate, because he's an old school style, and at the same time, so he can stand right in front of you and you still miss him, and then he'll counterpunch you. The thing with Bivol is he needs to initiate. He needs to be first, and sometimes he's not being first. He's just standing up watching the guy to counter him. You can't just stand up and watch a guy to counter you. That's where you can lose the fight. So hopefully Bivol initiates things and sets up baits and sets up traps and stuff like that. He has to initiate, and if he does that, I think, and then of course him being the bigger fighter than Canelo and having fought bigger guys on a regular than Canelo, I think should give him the confidence to be able to do whatever he needs to do with Canelo. You know, but it's the opportunity of a lifetime for Bivol, and I'm sure he's going to seize it with both hands. But like I said before, I don't understand how Canelo in his present form how he's going to beat Bivol unless he gets his feet in order. And I'm very serious about that. He needs to be able to move his feet for 12 rounds. I mean, rigorously. He should be, doing pace drills and stuff like that, because you're going to need your feet. Whether you're walking down Bevo or whatever, you need to get in position before he does. And as quick as Canelo is, he's been fighting mostly flat-footed. Not to say that Canelo's a flat-footed fighter. I've seen him on his toes against Gennady Golovkin. But even on his toes against Gennady Golovkin, he's still going at a casual pace. His feet are not moving as fast as it should be. Or even if he does move fast and explosively, he doesn't maintain it for very long. And you gotta have those. You must have those kinds of drills. Those drills, he's good. He should be working on his feet whole camp to keep up with Frank Sanchez. Um, and just work those feet, because Canelo's gonna want to probably get to the inside. He has a decent jab. Canelo's a decent jab, but he's gonna want to try and get to the inside of Bivol to do some work. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see. Anyways, what you need here, I'm talking to you guys. I hope you guys have a good one. We'll come with another video very soon. But in the meantime, keep well. Blessings. Peace.